Hello, my name is Nicholas, and today I will give this presentation for musical appreciation on this song called Death Metal by Panchico. This is frankly one of the most heaviest and most metal songs I've ever heard. It is pretty grotesque. Or maybe not. So this song, Death Metal by Panchico, falls under the subgenre of dream rock and experimental rock. The fascinating thing about this song, is that the band was discovered 16 years after they made one EP. So, and this song was part of that EP. Uh, the band was formed by four high school kids, and it originated in the UK, specifically England. All these kids were just making music in one of their mom's house, and they only made 30 copies because they were only sharing it with friends and family. And one of the copies landed in a record store, and this guy went to a record store seeking something new, something to listen to, discover something. And he discovered this because of the title. He thought it was actually death metal, and he was clickbaited into an experience. He liked the experience so much he decided to search on the internet for these people. Turns out Panchico never existed, at least in the internet, and he was looking for the artist, and unfortunately they decided to go with their first names on the back of the CD. And then once they located three of the original members, because the internet was sent in this little manhunt, they only found three, and the fourth one was lost, and to this day he has not been found. His name was John. He was also the drummer, and the original members decided to remaster this EP in 2020 on February 16, because the original piece had this disc rot. I mean, some people say that it added charm to the song. It added more to the song. But you could look that up if you're interested. So the rest of the band is Andrew Wright. He's probably the second most important person of the band. I mean, all these person are equally important, but Andrew Wright does a lot of the sampling, a lot of the production, and the keyboard, and he also plays the guitar. He's one of the original members. Sean Ferde, he is the bass and responsible for the bass programming of some of the songs. He is also one of the original members. Robert Harris, well, also known as Rob, he plays the guitar and was a new member from 2020 and still is. He's one of the official members, along with John Schofield. So the thing with Schofield is that his name is also John, and he's also a drummer, ironically, but he is not the original John, and he started with the band in 2020, and he still is the official drummer. So the content of this musical analysis, number one, is the musical structure and form. It follows every single rock song ever made, or every any song that kind of involves lyrics. It has this verse chorus form. So what is that? It has a chorus that repeats itself. The chorus repeats itself. It has these lines that it repeats itself, and then the verse adds more to that story. And then there's the bridge, there's the outro, there's the intro. So it follows that format. And then for the second part, the rhythm starts off slow, and then it paces up a little bit, but not too severe in degree. It maintains this walking like tempo, and then the meter is in 4x4 time signature. So there's four beats in each bar. You can clearly hear that from the beginning 10 seconds of the rhythm guitar. And then instruments that are used around the song is the synth keyboard, the rhythm guitar, and the drum set. The bass, you can kind of hear it. That's pretty much it. So the fourth part of this is the harmony. The harmony follows and is made up by the major and minor scales, chords, I mean, and it's really tonal. It really is strict on this specific key, that is C. So it's it all centers around this C key. And for the texture, it is primarily what I think it is. It's polyphonic. If you think of the sample to be part of the song as an independent melody, even though it's a sample from something different, um, and then homophonic, if you don't think that sample actually counts. So I think it has two melodic lines and it's supported by the accompaniment. And so all of this ties in very nicely. It helps this musical expression. And I like to play a little bit so then you could understand why it feels, why I put heavenly and dreamlike. So now you could understand that the sample there is sort of just a second melodic line, and the music expression overall, you feel that the song is nostalgic. It's very, for the lack of better words, dreamlike, um, or heavenly. Um, I think it's just heavenly. And so, what do the lyrics mean? You heard a bit of the lyrics there, and I'd like to break them down in further detail because it's a very interesting story. For some high school kids that decided to make this, they really put a lot of thought into it. So here is the story. It's one person singing about a girl who has a mental illness that limits her in fitting in with people. And he sees this and she continues to not fit in. So let me break it down here. It would be verse one. She's forgotten her car keys and the flowers for her friends. They say she's the heartbeat, but she's on her meds. So she's forgotten her car keys means that and the flowers for her friends means that she is a bit lost and distorted. And the thing that I said about mental illness is further reinforced with their meds. And flowers for her friends. The way I like to interpret this is that those flowers are seen as something beneficial to her friends, and this results to them. She's forgotten those flowers, so this results in her getting rumored on, saying that she's a harpy. A harpy is a mythological creature that is half human and half bird. It's pretty grotesque. So I think it's just a negative way to call somebody, and nobody wants to look like a harpy. And the chorus is giving, or because you're holding on to someone special, educating someone who's mental, giving their fat pigs their facial. We all listen to death metal. So we're holding on. You're holding on to someone special means that she's holding on to somebody, and she is. They are educating someone who's mental. So that person that she's holding on to is educating her, even though she probably doesn't understand this because of her mental issues. This could be ADHD. This could be any type of bipolar or anything like that. So there's something clearly wrong with this girl, but not in the sense that it's really that negative. It's more that it just limits her in fitting in, and this person is special because they're helping them out. Giving the fat pigs their facial, so fat pigs could be taken as a system. So she's giving the system a facial. Uh, so that is could be taken as whatever you want, and we all listen to death metal. So we all listen to death metal. This is really important here because the title ties into this. So death metal. So what is death metal and how is it, what does it mean in this song? So what it means, or what I like to believe that it means, is that we all have experienced something cruel, something similar to death, and we all have had something cruel happen to us. And clearly, this girl is having something really cruel to her. Because this all makes sense in verse 2, why it says death metal. She's mates with Roy Fokker, and she's completely phased. He's completely phased. She's in with the rockers, but it's not to her taste. So, who is Roy? Roy is a fictional character. This further cements that she is mentally ill because mentally ill people are most known to build connections with a fictional character. Roy Fokker is a fictional character from a manga, and he's completely faced. Could mean that he's a bad person, I guess. Um, she's in with the Rockers. In with the Rockers. The Rockers could be the group that she's trying to fit in with, but it's not to her taste. That means she doesn't really fit in with them, or she really doesn't like them to begin with. So it's not her. It's she's trying to fit in with the persons that are the rockers here. So the bridge, it has actually four lines of "Let It Go," and then it follows with "No one knows where she goes, no one knows where she goes." So this girl is completely gone. This girl is gone. She's never to be seen again. Towards the outro of the movie, I mean to the song. I mean, um, so what is the interlude and the outro? So all of the interlude and the outro here tie right after the verse, and then they tie right after the chorus. Um, and it's like don't play the track, don't play the track, don't play the track. So the don't play the track is actually an error message that you get from putting the game Sega Saturn into the wrong um, disc player that it belongs to, which is the PS2, and instead it's just played into anything that could play a CD. So it gives you this error message where it's like, "Hey, don't put the disc here because it's gonna be damaged. Please put me in the right disc." This is a form of symbolism that ties in with the girl. So she is the CD, and she's trying to find the right crowd, and clearly she doesn't mess with this crowd, or she doesn't fit in with this crowd. So at the end, we're just left with this hope that whoever she is, or the person that is singing about this, tries to find that person that she's looking for. So here, why do I care? Why do I care? I listen to this song at least once every single month, and it has an amazing story behind the song and the band as a whole. I really enjoy their music. They're my favorite fan currently, and I was there in 2021, and I was in the same position as Astoria. I won't say which side of that position I was on, and I also been to two of their showings, and I'm hopefully going for the third. The third one would take place in spring, and I'm fairly excited. So yeah, pretty much sums up the presentation, and thank you.